is it. We're on the air.
Big show.
So this is a really big show.
Shoot.
But
Welcome
you know who
back,
says that?
everyone.
Yes, we're back. Ed Sullivan used to say that. Really big show. This has been a dream for years to have this culminated like this, to have you here. And I've been tittering and so excited that you're here with us. And Suzy, we've been planning and dreaming of this thing for a long time. And all of a sudden, one day, it's here. So welcome to NJ Discover Live TV. Before we jump in, of course, Gilbert Gottfried and Suzy Yengo, we've been promoting, and the excitement is beyond, which is one of my favorite words, beyond how excited we are to have you here. Before we even do that, I like to do some promo stuff. So Gilbert Gottfried is going to be, this is great, Catch a Rising Star. Joey Harrison's Forked River, July 21st, Catch a Rising Star. That's a great venue because there's water right near there.
Yes.
It's a wonderful venue, it really is, and it's in a place that nobody knows exists. So that's one thing. The other thing, and we'll talk about it, I've been watching Gilbert Gottfried's amazing Colossal podcast, which is on gilbertpodcast.com. You can subscribe to it on iTunes. It is, we'll talk about it. It's simply wonderful. And the last thing it wasn't a watch, it was a listen, was when you had Emmett Walsh. It was like, wow, what an amazing, the stuff you do on that. It's like I may take the next year to just sit and listen. The things you learn, it was just, what an amazing podcast. So that's number two. Number three, Gilbert, the documentary, which I've now watched twice in a short period of time, and I love, and we'll talk about it, is available on Hulu, iTunes, Amazon, or go to gilbertmovie.com. So, now, and this is tradition, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce my co-host, the ebullient, she's ebullient, and vivacious Tara Jean Vitale, and we're basically at our anniversary, 7th, I always say this, but we're just about there, that date when we discovered each other 7 years ago.
Yeah, isn't there like a 7-year itch thing?
Oh, that's bad. Am I bumping into you? All right. So, Tara Jean Vitale, welcome.
Thank you. And introducing Calvin, the man with the hat. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. He brings in the best guests, and he does all the work. So I'm just here to help you out.
It's fine. It's fine. Listen, I'm a card-carrying member of AARP, and I've been that way. It's my 17th year of being a card-carrying member of AARP. Isn't that staggering? I mean, really. And so I have the time to do this stuff and explore New Jersey, which is, and I'm waving to my son, Neil, who I'm so proud that you're here. And we have a nice studio audience, and I'm waving to everybody. So we're going to jump in. I want to start off, and I want to introduce Suzy Yengo. Met a few years ago, and you have so graciously taken me into the world of wonderful Catch a Rising Star comedy. And I've been hanging out at this amazing Princeton Club, and I've met some wonderful comedians there and did some journalism. And so a little bit about, little bio, Suzy. You're the CEO of Catch a Rising Star Comedy Club, so throw a little bio out, and then we'll come to Gilbert shortly.
Sure.
Okay.
So, the commonality point, Gilbert and his wife Dara met at Tavern on the Green. I don't know what year. Do you remember what year?
No.
Oh, come on.
No, I actually don't. These things.
In the 90s, maybe?
I think I know. 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Because I've done my research.
See?
20 years ago.
See? So just ask him.
Okay. No, don't ask me.
Ask him everything. And I had worked there for 18 years as the director of entertainment and special events. So our paths kind of crossed, even though I didn't know they were there that day, in that way. And since then, while I was there, I went to law school and I became an entertainment attorney. And then left for a few years and got involved in Catch a Rising Star. And here I am today. Yeah.
Now, when you started with Catch and Rising Star, did you start in what position?
I was just an investor when I started, and then the person who got us all together passed away, and I was the obvious choice to run the company because nobody else had my experience.
And they have more than one location.
Yes.
Where else?
We're in Princeton. We're now in Forked River. We have series all over the country. Delray Beach, Florida, Connecticut, Providence, Rhode Island, and soon to be a few surprise locations.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Comedy clubs are wonderful. People really, really need that.
They do.
You know what I mean? You need to just listen to people. Although in a lot of comedy clubs, I'm afraid to sit in the front of the theater. I'll always sit in the back because I'm sure. Don't you pick out the people in the front when you're doing your stand-up?
Not really. I was never,
You don't really pick on people?
Not for the most part.
And I've seen a couple of scenes with you, because I was watching a lot of YouTube of you too, where some people walk out and you'll say...
Yeah. I usually time it to see. Like if they walk out in the middle or later, I feel like oh damn it, I could have lost them earlier in my younger days. Damn it,
Yeah.
I'm slipping.
That's funny. Yeah, well, I've never walked out, but I definitely sat in the back. But so CEO now, and that's amazing. You're bringing a lot of really big names from what I can see.
Yes.
Yeah, and Gilbert will be tonight.
Tonight in Princeton, Catch a Rising Star. We've been there for over 20 years, actually, at the Hyatt in Princeton.
Very nice. Do you do the same stand-up every time, or do you switch it up?
It depends. Sometimes it's the same. Other times, sometimes it'll be different. Other times it's so much the same that I'm up there going, so, how many of you watch Bonanza? Where you go, it's really time to write something new.
Right.
Yeah.
Still on, I think.
Hey, a lot of Gunsmoke fans out there. Yeah. Hey, how many of you caught the Colgate Comedy Hour last week, huh? Yes.
I think I'm the only one in this room who knows that.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know what that means.
Here's my bit where I imitate all the people on Playhouse 90.
It's funny. I have to compose myself.
You do. You have an interview to
my
do.
series. You bring in such amazing young talent to Catch a Rising Star, and talent on the way up, and I've experienced. How do you? What is the process of discovering, uncovering, recovering that kind of talent? I mean, i.e., Julia Scotti. You had brought her there, and I mean, such a bold and progressive. But your process. How do you go about that?
Well, I followed Julia when she was a he, and she's been in the business for a very long time.
Okay.
Julia was on America's Got Talent, so she gained some fame doing that, and we've been booking her before and after that, of course.
Okay.
I attend the Montreal Comedy Festival every year, so I meet a lot of comedians that way. And I'm always in clubs in New York City, where everyone goes, either LA or New York City. And I see lots of talent there all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Quick question. You were, because I have your little resume sitting next to my desk for a long time, but you were at Tavern on the Green and the Russian Tea Room, and you did a lot of the entertainment, so you must have. And I know you did the First Lady. You arranged for the First Lady, correct?
Many times.
Many times. The First Lady and Michael Jackson.
His 30th anniversary in show business.
So you have under your belt just some amazing experiences and interactions. Any of those that you want to just chat about?
Well, I always I thought the First Lady, Hillary Clinton, was amazing because she always remembered my name. And then I found out there's a little person behind her who whispers the name in her ear. That was still pretty cool that they had it. See, I got to work with Ray Charles at the Russian Tea Room, which is amazing. Worked with Michael, movie star Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Wow.
We arranged their engagement party.
Wow.
The owner of Tavern on the Green, Warner Leroy, was one of my idols, and I loved working with him. He had such an imagination. His dad was Warner Leroy, and Mervyn Leroy, who produced The Wizard of Oz. His dog was Toto. So he grew up, his whole life was based on that show.
What history.
Oh, it really, really was. So in every event that he ever did, he wanted something flying, he wanted midgets, and he wanted, a yellow brick road.
Wow.
So we did a lot of those. Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I have a picture of Margaret Hamilton hanging over my side of the bed.
It's a little scary,
She's
Cal.
a hero. He knows that.
I don't know if I
wanna know
want to
about
hear
that.
too
No,
much.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think let's just
Okay.
go right past that
No,
one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're getting into the real Calvin. So, but
I
you're.
have a picture of Thelma Ritter.
Well, that's pretty cool.
right
That's pretty cool. So, by the way, we have a lot of commonality. You have Thelma Ritter, I have Margaret
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes.
And they're both about the same height.
Yes.
I don't know what that means. Oh, okay.
Maybe you should tell people who Thelma Ritter is who might not know.
She's just a great character actor. She usually a lot of times she played like a maid. But great voice, short stature, but a powerful. But that's before all your time, everybody out there, including you. So, but these are the things that I can identify with.
Right.
But I always talk about Margaret Hamilton, and I'm serious. She's just a great lady.
Yeah.
She got typecast for the rest of her life because she was the Wicked Witch.
She popped up on an episode. This is really weird. She popped up on an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
No. Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Maybe he was teaching, you could be a scary person.
Wow. That's so funny.
But yeah.
I'll
Wow.
have to Google that.
Yeah. I just, it's funny you mentioned, I just watched a thing with Fred Rogers, when he testified in Washington with that senator about funding public television stuff. He was quite an amazing human being. You brought him up, but we're getting sidetracked. So you gotta,
Yes.
you have to slap me.
Okay.
Like,
Let's go back.
like
Like
Cher.
Margaret Hamilton
Real
used to.
Yes, slap me. I don't. Oh, so
Let's talk about the documentary. Because that was.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the documentary. Now, how did this come about? Was this a.
Weird. It's kind of like I had nothing to do with it. This guy, the filmmaker's Neil Berkeley, and he said to me, I've always dreamt of doing a Gilbert Gottfried documentary. And I said, well, you should set your dreams a lot higher than that. It's, maybe start off with a Yakov Smirnoff and work your way up. Like, in America, you eat pizza. In Russia, pizza eats you. What a country. In America, you button your shirt. In Russia, your shirt buttons you. And so, but then he just started following me around. It was just him with one camera, not even a cameraman with him. And I'm just too much of a wimp to say no. And I didn't want to do the documentary. And then he did it and finished it. And I still have a hard time watching it. But the reviews were amazingly great. I mean, I'm shocked by that.
Yeah.
It got all great reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and all those. Yeah.
It did. So you really don't watch it, though?
I watch. I had to watch it because we were doing all these screenings. But boy, I mean, to me, it's like, the first time you see yourself in a home movie or hear your voice on a recording, and you go, "No, that's not me. I'm not at all." That's the way I felt like.
Wow.
I was watching myself in the documentary, going, wait a minute, do I really walk around like Red Fox and Sanford and Son? I just had, you know, all I was missing was, you big dummy. You know, I was waiting for Aunt Esther to come in the door.
It's funny you brought that up. I always, I get a lot of chest pains, and often I run around the house and I yell,
Oh, yeah.
Elizabeth, I'm coming. He knows that. I'm always getting chest pains. Always. So it's funny that you brought that up. I watched the documentary like twice recently, and it deserves every bit. And I by the way, this is important, Gilbert.
Yes.
I'm a Jersey guy, and Jersey guys who live in Monmouth County do not pander. So whatever I say,
I've heard this.
you've heard that.
You know, one thing I'll say about Jersey guys in Mammoth County, what I've noticed, they don't pander. Sometimes I'll meet guys just at a party or whatever, and I notice that they're not pandering. And I'll say, are you from Jersey County? Because you didn't pander once.
I get it. I get it. So, this is about as serious as I've ever been.
Yes.
I don't pander, but I loved the documentary.
Oh, thank you.
And it was funny, and it was also so real. And you get all, sometimes I'm a big guy, as you noticed. We took a picture together before.
Yeah.
I'm a big guy, and I got all choked up. And then it's just some, people should really see that, because they know your humor and your comedy, and then there's that wonderful side of you that nobody really sees, and it's just a great side. So it's a really, again, it's just a great documentary, and actually to prove my pandering thing, I actually bought it.
Oh,
So
my
I own
God.
it on Amazon. So I
Jeez.
didn't tell you that, but I bought, so I own your documentary.
Gee.
So there you go.
So now,
Royalties.
do you feel like there's a big difference in the way you are to people that you know and the way you present? Like what people like us who don't know you personally and what we think of you, is it very different from who you really are?
It's weird. You know what was always a real uncomfortable thing? I don't know if you get this feeling as much as I do. It's like when you'll be with two different friends, but you know them from different places. And somehow in your mind you're going, uh-oh, which me am I supposed to be?
Yeah.
I have this set of jokes with this guy and this conversation with and it's like worlds crashing into each other.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like sometimes you don't have a party with those group of people and those group of people at your house because you'll be running back and forth.
Yeah.
You can't mix them.
And I'll
I definitely
go,
get that.
uh-oh, those other people are watching me because I don't act that way with them. So on TV so if you're a performer, it's even worse then.
Yeah. What about your children? You have 2 children.
Oh, yeah.
And have they seen any of your TV shows or stand-up ones from, like even, you were in Beverly Hills
Beverly Hills Cop
so
II.
That's my generation. I grew up watching that, and that's how I know you, from those shows. And so funny. And your kids watch that and crack up? Do they laugh?
It was funny. My son, when he was in preschool, the teacher said, well, we were talking to the teacher says, he doesn't pay attention in class, and he's always trying to be funny. And I'm thinking, gee, I'll have to really confront him on it. And she asked him, she said, how did you learn how to be funny? And he said, from my daddy. And she goes, oh, your daddy's funny? And he goes, he's funny at home, not at work.
So you're funnier at home. Wow. That's very cute. What?
Question.
Yes.
Who influenced you in comedy?
God, that's like so.
Is that a wide open question?
Yeah, like so many people.
So you've had a lot of influences.
Yeah, it's like I remember growing up. It's like TV was like, well, first of all, there was loads of old movies on TV back then, and it would just be everything. Like one channel had all the old Warner Brothers gangster films with Bogart and Cagney, Robinson, and then the other one would have the Universal monster movies.
PIX.
Oh yes, yes.
See, I go back.
And then there was the ones that weren't classic, and those would show. Okay. And then they also had variety shows back then, so I'd watch comics there, and they still had a lot of the old guys around, like Groucho and Milton Berle and Jack Benny. Mm-hmm. And then new ones coming in all the time.
So you must love Groucho, because in the documentary there was this great picture of Groucho right behind you in your apartment.
Of course, granted, the artist gave me that for free.
Oh, well.
So, if he had painted Hitler, I'd have that hanging.
No, it's funny you brought up Hitler.
Yes,
Stephen King said something really nice about you. That if Hitler would have known you, your humor would have stopped the war in 1942. Yes. So that was Stephen King. So that was just great.
Yes.
So, funny stuff. How
about the voiceovers? You've done so many voiceovers recently, and which ones are your favorites?
Oh God, so many. But it's like aside from commercials and stuff like that, but of course the Parrot and all that. Mm-hmm. That was a great thing to be involved. I thought, oh my God, I'm involved with something of quality. Like I don't belong here.
So I just go serious for just a minute or two or three?
Yeah.
So, and I gotta spit this out quickly, but I said something to you. Just to go a little bit serious, because this is a lot of fun here, but I have to say this because I was a big fan of Lenny Bruce back in the days, and I have all his albums, and I used to memorize all his bits, and wherever I would be going, I would sit in the back of the airplane or a bus. I like buses, by the way.
Yes.
A lot. I wanted to be a bus driver when I was a kid. We have to talk about that later. Love buses. I would travel clear across the country on a bus. And he knows that. I love buses. So, but Lenny Bruce, his comedy growing up, I watched, and I used to do all his bits, and he would take some really bad words and say it like 20 times in a row on stage, and then he would say, "It's just a word," and I'm getting to something. It might take me a little bit. It's really important. It's just a word, and that's what he said. It's just a word. And instead, if you want, and then he would say, right after he said some really bad racial words, he would say, "It's just a word, and if you really want a bad word, say Governor Forbes." And this is his bid. Governor Forbes, who was the governor of Arkansas, and they wouldn't desegregate the schools, and they had to get the National Guard to come into Little Rock. It was a whole famous thing, but that was Lenny Bruce. And I watched, and I've watched you, and I digest you, and I think you're as brilliant as Lenny Bruce, and people have to understand this, and I'm developing this. This is a development. So I watched, for example, Aristocats, and a lot of bad language there, but it's tons of bad language, but you know what? They're just words. And I think my own impression, my own take of you is you're brilliant, and you're trying to convey a message. They're just words. I mean, get over it. They're just words, and that's, I think, the beauty of your humor and the genius of your humor. That's my comment.
That's what always got me is people who use terms like, well, he used the F word, or he used the N word, or the C word. And I'm going, okay, so when you use that term, you're saying the word in your head. Everyone knows what you're talking about. Everyone is saying that word. And so why is one better than the other? You know, you're saying it aloud in your brain, and it's not like you don't know. So, but it's like, oh, we can't use that word here.
So, but you explore that, and if anybody would ever sit and think and try to think, and that, what a great word that is, think. If people would just think about really what you're doing, you're just throwing some words out there that really don't mean anything, and some people are offended, some people are not. So I think that's the genius. So if I ever have to write an essay about you, Gilbert, and I'm an essay writer at times, I will do that, because you're right in there with Lenny Bruce, who's such a comedic hero. And all of you guys owe such a great legacy to Lenny Bruce, because after Lenny Bruce was arrested for obscenity, even in New York, he was arrested and went to jail. Since him and his pioneering work, there wasn't one comedian ever since him that ever went to jail for obscenity because of the work that Lenny did. So I put you in with him in being pioneers, and that's my take.
Okay.
So that's it.
Speaking of that, likely with the comedy
He
club.
means I'm on drugs.
No, I didn't say that.
Connection
I
here.
didn't say that.
Yes.
No intimation, nothing.
He
That was-
means I'm going to die on the toilet with a needle in my arm. That's what he's trying to say.
no.
But he doesn't pander. Yeah. Because he's from where in Monmouth?
No, you know where I'm really from?
Monmouth.
I'm a Newark boy.
Yeah.
I'm from Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Proud of it.
Now in Newark, do they pander there?
Yeah, they do. Quite
They
a bit.
do
Oh, they have to
pander.
pander.
Yeah.
They have
but
to.
where you moved to, that's
I moved to a place called East Brunswick. Actually,
the place where no one panders.
No panders. But actually, I was in New York for 2 years. I married my wife. She was a Brooklyn girl. It pained me, by the way, to go on a date to pay a toll to go over to Verrazano Bridge. It pained me to do that. And I almost didn't do it, so I don't know where you'd be. I didn't want to pay a toll. I mean, to me, that was an affront to my sanity. To pay a toll to go out on a date, and so we wound up getting married. 2 years, and lived in Brooklyn for 2 years. I say I served in Brooklyn for 2 years. It was like penal.
I grew up in Brooklyn.
I'm sorry about
I'm
that.
a Brooklyn girl. I love
Sorry
it
about
there.
that. Well, but you're a Bronx guy.
No, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Well, you're Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look,
Oh,
you're
so,
insulting all of us. Where are you from?
Oh.
And
Jersey City.
Jersey City.
In fact,
Uh-oh.
on my podcast, we often go into how many famous people
Yeah.
came out of Brooklyn.
Tons.
Yeah.
Tons. Brooklyn is like, the whole singing business. You know, Neil and Barbara.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're all Brooklyn people. You're Jersey City.
Yeah.
So you and I were neighbors, you know.
Yes, we were.
Right.
I
You're
watched
Jersey.
you pander many times.
Yes. You know, and I spent one of the great summers, the summer of love in '65 in Jersey City. You know, I'm a Rutgers guy. I always wear a hat. But I went to summer school in Jersey City. Did you know that? I shouldn't be talking about this now.
I didn't realize '65 was the summer of love.
Well, that's
either.
what they called it. I called it that.
Just '65.
I called it that. There
Or was
no-
that your summer of love?
It was
I think
it was the summer of love. There was no summer of love for me. It was a barren summer.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
too busy paying the toll to get over the Verrazano.
All right, all right.
Okay, now,
Moving on.
stand-up, you have the stand-up comedy. Do you do anything, like when you pick the people, is it people who, when we were talking about what words they use and what they don't, is there any kind of regulations you have when you book a stand-up comedian, or do you just say go for it?
There are no regulations, but it's what the audience and the market will bear. So if you're a family audience, we have X-rated material warnings for Gilbert when he performs, because there is X-rated material, and some people are not into that, and they're welcome to walk out. I'm not giving them a refund. But you don't have to walk out if he offends. We're equal opportunity offender.
But then that's not even a bad thing, right? If they walk out, that means you kind of...
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
So what do you like best? So you're an actor, and you have a podcast, and you do stand-up, and you do voiceovers. So what is your favorite thing to do?
Wherever someone's waving a check in my face, it's like at that particular moment, I go, oh, I kind of enjoy this. Yeah.
Okay. I bet you the Aladdin was probably good for that, right?
Oh, yeah, Aladdin was fun. Yeah, there was a few. And now I'm a bird in this. They're still making these Cyber Chase cartoons for PBS.
Oh. Birds.
Yeah.
Lots of birds. When they do the character, do they try to do facial expressions that you do?
In Aladdin, they did that. They actually had cameras on the people while they were recording them, and then they kind of design the facial expressions around
according to like your
how
structure.
the actors.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you really had to fully act, even though you weren't on camera. You had to do everything. That's fun.
It is fun.
You know, Gilbert's been with Catch a Rising Star since the beginning, pretty much, right? 72?
Oh, God, yeah.
Rick Newman's Catch a
Let's talk
Rising
about your
Star?
history with Catch a Rising Star. That's a great. I'm glad you brought that up.
When it was on first and I think 77th. Yeah.
So you go way back.
Manhattan.
So you were almost you were a kid,
Yeah. I was like I was a teenager.
and that's when you started with Catch a Rising Star.
Yeah.
and that's why you're here now.
And I remember there was they used to have singers at comedy clubs, and among the singers, Pat Benatar was there every night.
Wow.
And then later on, Patty Smythe, and a lot of people.
And then I think Rick left the business to be with Pat Benatar.
Yeah, he was her manager for a while.
He said, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you go back to starting your comedy at Catch a Rising Star when Richard Nixon was president. I hope sorry about that.
Do you think that was your big break, going with Catch a Rising Star? Is that where your big break was, or was there something else?
I don't know. I always feel funny with when they say a break, because I feel like it's usually a series of things that add up. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like I was on Saturday Night Live for a season, and they said, was that your big break? And I thought, no, it was a terrible time to be on Saturday Night Live. And my other big break was when Alan Thicke had the talk show Thicke of the Night, mm-hmm. which was another colossal failure. And but he did write, compose, and sing the theme song to Thicke of the Night, because he was a jingle writer too. But and it went as follows. Mama don't leave the night I'm on the road tonight. Everyone needs a dream to hold on. I wanna make it on my own. Running in the thick of the night, under the city lights. Running in the thick of the night. And then years ago, I was switch wives with him on in real life.
Oh, wife swap.
No, in the Celebrity Wife Swap.
You were on that? That's
Yeah.
good. That's a good one.
That was your big break.
Yeah,
you do great impersonations. So I discovered, I think we talked about it at the house briefly, but I discovered one of the funniest things I've ever heard when you and Howard were on radio and you called Jerry Seinfeld. And he was supposed to call in and he didn't, so Howard picks up the phone and Howard Stern. Yeah. Anybody doesn't know, it's Howard Stern. Howard Stern and Gilbert are together and they pick up the phone and they call Jerry's answering machine. So this is all improv. And you did 40 minutes of Seinfeld impersonation.
And that was when they had answering machines.
Yes.
And that could run out. And we stayed on until it ran out.
43 minutes.
And I just kept going like, why do people wear shoes? Is it because they want to cover their feet? Why do people have breakfast? Is it too early for lunch?
It was great. It was great.
In fact, I remember when in my early days at the clubs when Seinfeld was there all the time, and he wasn't known. He was just another comic. I started imitating him just to amuse myself and the other people who worked there. And I would go on stage and I'd start imitating him, and the other comics and the wait staff would all be cracking up. The audience had no idea who he was. And the only person who wouldn't be in the room when I was doing that would be Seinfeld, who would be angrily pacing the bar going, "That doesn't sound anything like me. I don't have a sing-song voice."
If anybody out there, just go find it on YouTube and just sit and listen to it. It's just unbridled, wonderful humor.
Did Jerry Seinfeld appreciate it when he got the message?
Whatever happened? Yeah, that's a good question. Great question.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know. I'm sure he was thrilled.
Oh, it's a funny
What
thing.
about you? I mean, your voice is classic. Anyone hears your voice, they know it's you. Who does your best impersonation?
God, so I've heard it so many times. Well, I mean, oh God,
It's a great question.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, Jimmy Fallon does a funny imitation of me.
Okay.
Weirdest imitation of me that I wish I could go back in time and have it on film. I was at a party many years ago, and O.J. Simpson was there when O.J. was known as a football player and sometime actor. He wasn't known. It wasn't, O.J. and, he's that guy who killed his family. Right? No. And O.J. Simpson did an imitation of me because he was a fan, and so I'd like to go back. Notice I'd say I'd like to go back in time and film that, where maybe I should go back in time and stop the
him.
murders
Yes.
from happening. Maybe I should say, Nicole, maybe you could go just find, go do your hair. and Mr. Goldman, she doesn't need her sunglasses that bad. Really. She's got plenty of sunglasses.
Funny. I've watched so much of you, and again, this is gets a little serious. You often make a comment in the documentary, and also on that other documentary, you can't take a joke, which was another brilliant. By the way, your documentary, I jump around a lot. It is I do. Well, he knows that. Listen, I am what I am. That's Popeye. I am what I am, and I cannot, at this advanced age, change. So, but back to the documentary, it is just a who's who of American comedy in that. Everybody is in that documentary. So if anybody has any proclivities, it's to American comedy. It's a great word. I looked it up before I came here. I just wanted to try to impress you. So, but just about everybody, it's just a who's who of American comedy, all jumping in. I mean, just everybody. So it's
And
just.
where can they get the documentary? People
Last I think it was on Hulu.
Hula.
Yeah.
Hula. I think it's
Well, I bought it on Amazon.
you can buy
Yeah.
it also.
Yeah, I bought it on Amazon. I'm
I
a
watched-
big fan of Jeff Bezos, so I like to
I'm
support him.
also in a documentary. Well, this came out years ago, called Life Animated, which was that was a peculiar story. Because I didn't know anything about it. I just saw there was an article in the Times about a guy this Ron Suskind, a writer, who had a son who was autistic, and he couldn't communicate with him. But the son would watch Disney films 24 hours a day. And so one time he went into the son's room, and there was a puppet on the floor of my character Iago from Aladdin. And the father put it on his hand and did an imitation of me. And he said his son reacted like this was an old friend. And they got into a conversation.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. Wow. That's a great story.
Which proves I can do great things as long as I'm not directly involved. Yeah. It's when I become directly involved, that's when the police have to come in. So, okay, we're going to show you on the doll.
Okay, we can bring up one crazy thing that 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, yes.
You read that. That's just insanely funny. I mean, the people listening to you read that. Now, who asked you to do this? Like, where did this even come from?
It was just this company, I think College Humor, and they said, we want you to read passages of 50 Shades of Grey.
Did you think this was insane?
Yeah, but that was fun.
You look like you were having fun.
A lot of people watched that.
So funny.
Yeah.
We can't talk about it really, though. But it was very funny.
No. So, so I started to say, and I got sidetracked. Often you say, "I don't play it safe," and you don't. And segueing, because I think you're brave. You're a comedic pioneer, like driving around in a Conestoga wagon. And you say, "I don't play it safe," and even testament to that is your conviction. You did a benefit for the kids, your kids' grammar school.
Oh yeah.
And you were Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
And I think that's just absolutely testament to who you are and what you are and what you believe in, and all part of the whole package. And so that's really brave to do that. And then you did a benefit for.
There was St. Jude's Hospital.
Yeah, I was just going to that.
Yeah.
And everybody got up and applauded you because you did your thing at St. Jude's Hospital.
Yeah.
With all those parents and all those people and the kids and this, and they all got up and applauded you.
Yeah.
Because they appreciated you. So I just had to bring that up because that's.
Yeah, if anyone didn't
It's not
know,
pandering
great.
again.
Yeah, because he doesn't pander.
I don't pander.
Section of Jersey, that is, where they don't pander.
Now,
Some sections of Jersey, they pander like crazy. But his section of Jersey, they're known for not pandering.
Oh, gosh.
What section of Jersey is that again?
Mammoth County.
Mammoth County. Now,
Just change it.
If you want to know who's from Mammoth County, if you're talking to someone and you go, this guy's not pandering. He must be from Mammoth County.
It's really Monmouth.
Monmouth.
You know that.
Yes.
It's really
Yes.
Monmouth. Because we don't want to get in trouble because that's our home base. We don't want to get in trouble.
now in the comedian world,
I think it was Al Jolson who sang Mammoth.
He did. He did.
Yes.
Yes.
would you want your son to go and become a comedian?
That to me is so strange now because it's like back then I thought I really had stupidity on my side. Like I thought, oh, well, I could go into show business. Like I wasn't thinking of the odds. I wasn't thinking of the rejection. I'll make a living in show business. Like, how? Now it seems insane when I think about it. And so now when anybody tells me, oh, well, I'm an aspiring actor or comic, I think, what, you nuts? It's kind of like I'd rather my kids say to me, well, what we're going to do is we're going to walk down the street and stop at the trash cans and take out soda cans and bottles and turn it in for the 5-cent deposit. At least that makes sense. Like in show business, 0 cents.
It's a hard.
It's difficult.
It's a hard world, and it's changing. Comedy is changing. That was a question we threw over here.
Well,
Comedy is.
I just wanted to,
Yes.
while we're on this
Yes.
point, what about your family? Were they supportive? How young were you when you first started going into?
Oh, God. First time I got up on a stage, I was 15. And
15?
Yeah.
And where was that?
That's so funny. I had it in my mind of one club, and then my sister said, no, it was a different club. So I don't know what club I started
But
at.
it was a club at 15?
Yeah,
That's
yeah. It
great.
was one of these clubs, like where you'd sign your name down in a book, and when they got to you, they go, okay, and so comedian or so singer, and
Right, so it's kind of like open mic now.
yeah,
with the-
yeah.
Okay.
Is it Pips, maybe, in Brooklyn?
No,
Oh, yeah,
it
I
wasn't.
used to go to
It was in
Pips.
Manhattan, but I don't remember where. But first time, it wasn't the first time, but one time I worked Pips, and my opening act was Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Woof.
How'd you do after his
Yeah.
stand-up?
It was totally different back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
A bunch of years ago, I was going to Texas I used to work in the eyeglass business. That's why I play with my eyeglasses. And my sister-in-law gave me this tape, Aunt Lo. I'm saying Aunt Lo on my favorite sister-in-law, my only sister-in-law. So she gave me a tape, and I had no idea who it was. It was Andrew Dice Clay, his first cassette tape, and I put it on the plane, and I got hysterical laughing the whole time. And stewardesses, flight attendants, there were stewardesses back then.
Yeah.
Everybody came running by. Who you listening to? And I was afraid to tell anybody because he was a little controversial. And anyway, I love comedians, and so I can't do your voice, so you're safe. But anyway, I started to do Andrew Dice Clay. I don't know if you remember, but people started saying, Calvin, you're starting to sound like Andrew Dice Clay. So I was doing a lot of his bits and stuff.
Oh, boy.
And his aunt lived around the corner from me in Monmouth County. End of.
Oh,
Yes.
Mama County.
And-
So, since we're getting close to the end, do we want to do our questions?
I think we
and put
can.
everybody on the spot?
Yes, these are fun questions.
Oh, boy.
If these are fun questions, I'll start.
Okay.
Gilbert Gottfried. Living or dead, who would you like to have dinner with?
Oh, boy, whoever's willing to pay the check.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Could be Genghis Khan. I don't care. As long as he goes, I'll take care of that.
Okay. Suzy.
Suzy.
Yeah, I'm going to narrow it down to the comedy world because that's a tough question.
Okay.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
I would say Joan Rivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I watch Joan Rivers. I love comedy. So I sit and I watch old Johnny Carson shows obsessively. So she was on a bunch of years ago before she did that bad thing with Johnny. And she was talking about that model, that pretty model who, oh shoot. But she said something so funny about Anyway, I shouldn't even. But anyway, she happens to be priceless. She's so priceless, and you talk about her all the time
Funny.
too. You're always mentioning Joan Rivers.
We were speaking about her the other day, saying if she said some of the things that were being said today, would they be accepted because she said them? Because she was such an
Right.
an insult comic.
Correct. So funny, and all her times on Carson. And I watch incessantly old comedy, including yourself. But you're not old comedy. But I just love it. So
Should I hit the next question?
yes, you do.
Okay, this is a crazy question too. So I'll ask you first. 5 things that you cannot live without.
Oh boy.
And I'm going to write it down.
Yeah.
I'm going to write
Yeah,
this down.
Write it down.
I don't know if I can think of one. 5 things.
Like a bus.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
Yeah, all right. You say 5 things and I'll go right along with them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, a
Yeah.
bus.
Okay.
It's difficult.
It is.
Heart, lungs.
Okay.
These are things I can't
You
live
can't live
without.
Okay.
Very
Yeah,
literal.
spinal cord.
Okay.
That's
That's good. That's good.
Kidneys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely need those.
How many is that so far?
I think you're there.
Yeah,
You got
okay.
you're there. You got
Right,
the
yeah,
organs.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't live without any of those. Yeah.
Okay, your turn.
Suzy.
Let's see. Telephone. Hot springs. Natural hot springs.
Really? Do you go a lot? Really?
Oh, yeah.
We have to
Where's-
talk about that.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Where's your favorite one?
In Arkansas?
No, it was in New Mexico.
New Mexico.
10,000 waves.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh.
Let's see what else. My memories.
That's nice.
My dreams.
Fine. Dreams
Keep
good.
it going.
Oh, he's
Dreams
scratching
good.
the surface now. And Gilbert. I'm going to say
Perfect. All right. One more serious.
One more
They're
question.
fun, serious. And this won't involve any organs or anything. But so Gilbert Gottfried. I should do This Is Your Life.
Yeah.
You remember that show?
Oh,
Ralph
yeah.
Evans? Okay. It's so nice to talk to a contemporary. It's so nice. You all don't know what the hell we're talking about, but this is nice. This Is Your Life, Ralph
I remember
Evans.
that.
I always dreamed
Yeah,
of being.
I remember it.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So you're up there too. I
I'm
didn't
up
think
there.
you were up there. So Gilbert Gottfried. Before you leave this earth, I won't be satisfied. Fill in the blank. I won't be satisfied until I blank. It's heavy stuff.
Yeah, see, I hate these questions
Oh.
because they always ask that so they could put it in your obituary.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, they always, every time they say to a celebrity, so what do you want on your tombstone?
I didn't ask that.
Yeah.
I didn't ask that. I don't mess around with that stuff.
What would you like to scream out as you're dying? Could you do like your last wheezing breath for us, just in case we're not fortunate enough to watch it?
Okay, so enough said. This was not a funereal question.
Yeah,
This
it was
just-
not a venereal question.
No, it wasn't a venereal.
No, it was. This was not a question where your urine starts getting a burning sensation. Yeah.
This was just a nice little.
Yeah. Yes.
I had to.
Not a venereal.
No, it wasn't venereal. It wasn't
Yeah.
funereal.
Yeah.
It wasn't ethereal. I mean,
Yes.
we're going to get into all that. So, Suzy, I'm switching over to you.
We're not getting the answer from Gilbert.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Let's see.
He answered it. You know.
I can repeat the question, please.
Before I leave this earth, I won't be satisfied until I blank.
I'm going to say until I become the person I used to dream I would be when I was little.
Okay. That's very nice. That is very nice.
That is.
So, there I getting 2 fingers. I hate when these people back there give me the finger. I hate that. I hate that. So, before we say our goodbyes, I just want one more time to say up and coming things with Gilbert in the Garden State, the state of pandering.
Yes.
The state of all this
yes.
stuff. This is the state of pandering. Yeah, it is the state of pandering because we had a governor. I don't want to talk about it. No politics.
Nope.
Anyway, Gilbert will be at Catch a Rising Star at Joey Harrison's in Forked River on July 21st. CatchARisingStar.com. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a great venue because it's on the water and there's beautiful boats nearby and the water smells good.
And they have a great CEO.
Yeah, great CEO, that's right. And then, and I really mean this, because you do a lot of stuff with older movies on your podcast.
Yeah.
You talk about older, like legendary type of actors like M. Emmett Walsh.
Yeah, he was...
1 minute. All right. So anyway, Gilbert Gottfried is amazing. I'm getting there now. It's 1 finger. It's 1 finger. Gilbert Gottfried's amazing colossal
This one's
podcast.
giving him the finger.
Yes, the finger.
And he's giving another finger.
Another finger. This and that and that. Boom. But anyway, GilbertPodcast.com. Check it out because it's wonderful just to sit and listen. I play backgammon and I listen to it. It's wonderful. And also, Gilbert the God documentary is available on Hulu, iTunes, Amazon. Go to gilbertmovie.com. It's a treat. By the way, this is our closing.
This was great. Thank you
Aw,
so much
thanks for having us.
for coming on our
Thank
show.
The best.
Thank you.
By the way, you made my day, you made my week, you made my year. This is beyond.
Wow.
I'm going to write an essay and send it to you, what this meant to me.
Thank you.
And I am.
And I think it was Roseanne Barr who said, no, I don't know. Yeah, that...
By the way,
Tuning in. Say goodbye. Thank
we're
you.
saying goodbye. We don't even
Thank
get a chance to
you.
talk about Roseanne.
Yes.
Wave goodbye.
They don't pander.
Uh,
Yeah.